the most wonderful time of the year, not Christmas, Oktoberfest.
That's right.
I'm Josh, the production manager here, and I'm joined by...
I'm Joe, I'm warehouse supervisor.
And we're here to talk to you about Oktoberfest beers, but not a regular Oktoberfest, which was released about 3 weeks ago. This Saturday is our big Oktoberfest celebration, and we hope you guys come down. It's Taco-toberfest this year. We got a taco truck, so that you can enjoy tacos and lagers, and they pair beautifully together.
Amazing.
So what have we got lined up for you this week? Well, obviously you can always get the Märzen, but we have two additional classic German style beers. We have a Festbier. We'll talk about that a little bit, but this is a collab Lager Life with Lua Brewing, and we did it last year at their place. It was available just on draft. This year we did it at our place, so it's available in cans and draft. And then we also have Sticke Notes, which is an alt style beer. Joe, which one do you want to talk about first?
Well, I think you should probably describe the difference between these two and this.
Yeah, sure. So the Märzen is our classic Oktoberfest. That's the style of beer that Germans celebrated, at the Oktoberfest festivals for over 100 years, from mid to early 1800s, I think, until the 1990s. At which point, as things happen, or things tend to do, taste changed a little bit, and the Germans wanted a beer that was a little lighter bodied, a little more quaffable, a little easier to drink. The Märzen is beautiful, it's lovely, it's full and rich and sweet, but if you want to pound liter after liter, it
gets a little heavy.
Gets a little filling. So the Festbier kind of took the stage since then, and this is a beer that's really, for the most part, only sold there during the festival, but it is the official beer of Oktoberfest since 1990. So it's going to be pretty sweet because you can drink both at our Oktoberfest.
Think Oktoberfest Light.
Yeah, like Oktoberfest Light. That's exactly right. A little lighter colored, a little less alcohol, but still a good full malt flavor, nice hop bitterness to balance it, and just makes it a supremely quaffable beer. Quaffable, not crushable, because we're pinkies out here.
Bougie.
Yeah. So that's the difference between the Festbier and the Märzen, and then we have an alt style beer, Sticke. This is actually a Sticke alt. That's why it's called Sticky Notes. And Sticke means special in German. So what this is basically the base alt, but then like a little tweak, a little bigger, a little extra. You could think of it like the difference between an imperial stout and like a regular stout in America, but like not as big a gap, right? So alt beer is kind of a throwback. It literally means old beer, and not like the beer's been sitting around for a long time. But we know Germany today as the lager capital of the world, but it wasn't always the case. They, just like everybody else, they used ale yeast and brewed ale style. It wasn't until they were the advent of like refrigeration and the ability to keep things cold
to be able to lager it.
And so Dusseldorf holds tight to the old style brewing tradition, using ale yeast, creating a beer that's a little fruitier because of those ale yeast esters, but then they treat it like a lager. Like after primary fermentation, they start dropping it and cold conditioning it like a lager. So you end up with a beer that has like a bright, fruity ale type note up front, but then it's crisp and clean and drying on the finish, and leaves you just wanting to drink more. So there's basically 3 ales in German brewing tradition these days, and it's the Hefeweizen. There is the Kolsch, and then there's the alt. And the alt and the Kolsch are sort of like they're sort of competing because they
battle.
They're within miles of the two cities, Cologne and
Don't go to Cologne and order an alt beer.
Right, and vice versa. Don't go to Dusseldorf and order a Kolsch. So, so this is our take. We've made one or two other alts in the past, but we were never quite satisfied with them. And I think really close this year. So while this is not a traditional Oktoberfest beer, it is a traditional German beer, a very traditional German beer. And so you guys have 3 awesome German beers.
Get to try them all this weekend.
With your tacos.
With your tacos.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's get open. Let's start with the Lager Life and kind of talk about how it tastes.
If you see the can, I think it was modeled after me, but
Yeah. That's exactly right. Sean told me that he thought we were stealing his likeness.
Oh,
so yeah. So as you guys can see as we pour it, lighter colored than the Oktoberfest, closer to golden. Crystal clear, like a good lager should be. And Prost.
Prost.
So Joe, did you home brew a beer like this before you did this?
I've done an Oktoberfest in the past. Never as good as your guys's, but
well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
This definitely. When I said Oktoberfest light, that's literally what this tastes like to me. It's just a lighter bodied Oktoberfest, real bright, real bougie crushable.
Bougie crushable, yeah. I would highly recommend if you're in this weekend to try them out. Like one, obviously I recommend a half liter of each in each hand, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. But that aside, get a flight with the Lager Life, the Oktoberfest, and the Capital Gold, because they all share a lot of things in common in terms of malt bill and hopping rate in the kettle, and generally how they're treated in the yeast. And I think you'll see that they just kind of like Festbier the lightest, Cap Gold kind of in the middle, Oktoberfest like the big heavy guy, and it'll be kind of cool. It'll be kind of a study for you in the difference between increasing the amount of Vienna and Munich malt.
Just being able to pick out the little differences in each beer.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, this one, 100%. This is still my favorite. I love the Märzen, but man, this beer, like, yes, if I wanted to drink 15 liters in a day,
Which we might do.
this is easy to do, right? Yeah.
It's definitely a breakfast beer.
For sure. For sure. All right, well, let's try the Sticke.
I had one of these last night.
So I told our buddies at Lua that run their Kingmaker Kolsch Day like they do in Cologne, where you sit at the table and they bring around the stangs. It's a lot of fun, by the way. If you haven't been over there, you guys should definitely go over when they hold a Kingmaker Day. But I told them we needed a similar alt day to compare, so that we can be our competing Dusseldorf and Cologne here in Des Moines.
A battle for the belt.
That's right. So, coppery in color.
Yours is a lot prettier than mine.
I used to pour terrible heads, so an alt you typically expect in the low 5s to high 4s percentage, but this is a Sticke, so it's bigger. We ended up real close to 6, but I don't think it drinks, heavy.
It does not drink like a 6.
You get really nice, at least I get like really nice kind of Munich. There's a lot of Munich and Vienna in this beer, and then Pils malt, and then a touch of chocolate. Very little, like it shouldn't taste like chocolate, but it's just to add like a little nuance to it. I'm trying to remember what else. I had put another specialty malt into this beer, but I think
it's got a little more bite to it too, compared to the Oktoberfest and the Festbier.
Yeah, fruity and sweet up front, but then a little bit of like toast, hot bitterness, and it finishes so clean. Like you typically expect an ale that starts like this, like a brown. I would compare this most to like an English style brown, but an English style brown kind of lingers like sweet and fruity, and this one closes off. And I think that's the difference between lagering your beer and then using more noble hops than English hops. But if you like traditional German beers, if you like Kolsch's, definitely give this a try just to compare the two competing cities. But also, if you're a brown drinker or a red drinker, I think this will definitely be up your alley.
Very similar. You definitely pick up on the German yeast notes from this compared to a brown. But
No, you definitely get that fruity ale yeast like right up front, but then finishes clean like a lager. I like it. Yeah.
All 3 excellent beers, and we got tacos this weekend.
Yeah. So get down here, celebrate Oktoberfest with us. Yeah, there's polka, but everyone needs polka one time a year.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's enough.
So that's it. That's it. Just the one day. But yeah, come listen to polka. Come drink some awesome German beers.
Bring your lederhosen.
And as always, we have, whatever. What is it, Mark? 38 taps? 36 taps. So even if these aren't your style, just come down and have fun, experience Oktoberfest. It's fall. It's lovely. It's going
to be a beautiful day.
It's the best time of year.
Tacos and beer.
Best time of the year, yeah. Cheers, guys. Prost.